Hi Yoga Peeps, Lynne here. We're going to talk about forward folding. It is the bread and butter of every Viniyoga practice. It's probably the most common form of stretching that you do during the day. You feel a little tight in the back, feel a little tight in the legs, and you take a forward fold. It is the neutral gear in every vinyasa flow. As far as flows I'm building, if we're moving from a twist or a different spinal direction, we forward fold. I'm dating myself. It's like, driving a stick shift, 4 on the floor. You don't just slam it from first into third. You're going to drop your tranny, and we don't want to do that. Forward fold is also the easiest thing to really do incorrectly. So I'm going to show you how you see it. I'm going to show you how you practice it. And then I want to show you how to correct it to get a better stretch for both your low back and your hamstrings. We have to talk about the squish. A lot of traditional practices teach you to lock your joints, locking or overextending the elbows, locking and overextending the knees. The reason this is poor advice is because when you lock your joints, number one, don't take the weight of your body. They're not designed to hold up your body weight. They're designed to move. It's one of the wonderful things that we have evolved in doing, and they provide us movement. They're not designed to hold up the weight of our body. Our muscles are designed to do that. And then in addition, when you lock your joints, you're robbing the muscles of doing any kind of work. One of the first things that people struggle with when they come into one of my classes is the squish. They're very accustomed to locking the knees. And you can see what that does. I'm going to show you what happens. When you lock your knees, you lose the power of your core, and you're automatically resting the weight of your body on your low back into the hip joints and on the knees. So if you squish, if you give me that little micro bend of your knee, right, you can then lift up from the core. You're going to feel you have to stand up a little straighter. You roll your shoulder caps back, and then the body weight is being held up in the core. You're feeling your glutes fire, you're feeling your hamstrings and your quads wrap around the leg to activate through the calf and hold your weight up. So a traditional swan dive, as cued in class, is this reach on up through the ceiling. Most people will lock their knees, open up these arms, and press your chest forward. And you can see what's happening with my back. Unless you're very, very powerful and really long in the spine, you are in your low back here. You're also back behind your heels, which isn't a stretch or a position of power under any circumstance. When we talk about forward folding in my class, I take that same extension, I cue that soft bend to the knees, we'll trace the fingers to the legs first, and come down through the length of the leg. Do you see? I can flatten my back now. I'm pulling my core up to keep my body weight balanced. I have this squish in my knees, and I can come down into this fold, and I'm all in my hamstrings and my low back. The other thing that is important to cue is to remain in contact with something. I know you all love that ragdoll hang where you take your hands to your elbows and just let the body hang. But what's happening is you're not closing the electrical circuit through the hamstrings, and so they're not really stretching. They're firing to keep you from falling over. Your brain is giving them signals that you're in danger. So if we come up through the stretch, we trace the fingers down to the legs. We trace the legs down into the fold. Maybe you have a block. Maybe you just stay in contact with the legs here. You can keep the weight shifted forward rather than swinging back. Keep the weight shifted forward. That means you have to bend your knees. And when you release here and keep contact with the legs, that means you are closing the electrical circuit in the hamstrings, and you're getting a little more effective stretch rather than working against the power of the hamstrings to hold you up. So we come up through this length. We trace down with the fingers. I'm going to follow my legs down with the hands. My weight is forward into the balls of my feet. My toes are relaxed. And I'm going to release my head and shift my gaze to my shins. Note I'm not swinging back over my heels. I'm going to take it pressed into the evenness of the feet. So to come up, I'm going to trace my fingers back up to the knees, lift my head and shoulders. Notice my chin is slightly tucked to keep my cervical spine in alignment, and I'm going to press to the center of my feet and lengthen the body up to the ceiling. I'm in my legs and my core. I've got a squish, and then I'm going to release. It's a place of power. It's much more energetic, and it's much kinder for your low back and much more energetic and power driven in the core. So the fundamentals of forward fold in any position, the fundamentals in any position, keep a little squish in the knees, open up these shoulder caps, engage with the core, and always be in control of your body rather than swinging it and swaying it. I want you to prevent low back pain. I want you to increase flexibility. I want you to increase the length and strength of your muscles. So keep an eye out for the yoga book. Don't know what it's going to be called yet. Keep an eye out on the blog, theyogablock.com. My name is Julia. This is the common sense approach to yoga for people who hate yoga. Come on, bitches, you know it. We all need it. Don't forget to hit the like button. And please, please support the fucking yoga company by subscribing to the channel and come on back for some more yoga. Yoga for the 99%. That's you and me. It's yoga for the rest of us. All of the benefits and none of the bullshit. Don't stab anybody today.